Hiya, welcome back. Welcome to our not so windy day. Dungarvan. Well, we hope we get there anyway. We might be somewhere before that. Kilmore Quay is quite a petite marina and you don't have much time to get out of it, but this area here you can sort of go round in circles a couple of times as long as you keep your wits about you, because fishing boats and day trip boats are in and out all the time. It's an ideal place to put your fenders on if you haven't already coming in, and it's an ideal place to take your fenders off before you go out and get your lines away and get everything ship shape. The entrance is very short, but you need to make sure nothing's flying in when you're going out, especially a larger vessel. There's a Drasgum lugger on our port side there. That's to make sure that people don't overshoot, because apparently that sandbank there, when people are coming in, they panic a little bit and hit that bank. So watch out for it. I think we're ready to go now, and just take a look at that water. Isn't it beautiful? And that's what I mean about boats coming in and out. There's day trip boats over to the islands all day, and there's fishing boats in and out all day. I think the islands are a bit of a bird sanctuary. The salty islands they are. Great Salty obviously being the furthest one out, and Little Salty being the smaller one a bit closer in. Between the two islands, that's called the Salty Sound. I did think this was called the Salty Sound between the mainland and the islands, but I was wrong. It's actually called St. Patrick's Bridge, this, so he's responsible probably for that causeway thing that runs across. Well, trips normally run all day, back and forth to the islands, but not as busy as they used to be. There's reasons for that. The fishing trips as well are not as busy as they should be. Not enough people on the boats to bring those summer pounds in or summer euros in. Fishing trips going out with very little people on the boats, it's just covering fuel costs really. Well, we're only just out the doorway. There's a little bit of a draft behind us, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to move very quick with 6 knots behind us. But so we're still on the motor at the moment. We've put the sails up in the hope that our force 4 fills in a little bit and carries us away from these islands. You seem to get closer and closer and close to them, although that is on the zoom, I know. But you do seem to get closer to them as you pass them for a bit. So on the way back, they'll be a good target. They certainly make Kilmore Quay easy to see from a long way off and easy to find. And that's probably a big bonus for Kilmore Quay. I'm still waiting for a little bit of wind on my beautifully smooth sea to push me along. Well, at the moment we've got the tiniest draft in there and the engine's on a couple of RPM. There is a thriving fishing village actually in Kilmore Quay, and all the commercial boats that are selling to wholesale are all doing very well. It's only the small guy that's hit a lot. Now this wind doesn't seem to be picking up very much, so we're going to have to see what we can do to make the wind pick up, and a bacon butty often does it. So out we put the cruise and shoot to see if we can catch a little bit more than we were catching before with the Genoa out full. That's Hookhead Lighthouse over there in the distance. Marks the way into Waterford, which we were going to go to Waterford, but unfortunately we've been told it's closed. I don't mean Waterford itself's closed, just getting in and out for boats, because they're building a bridge across the river and they don't want any visiting yachts apparently. Still got the motor running at a few thousand RPM because there's still not very much wind. And we've actually got a bit of a distance to go, truth be known. Well, the wind's on our port quarter following, which is pretty good, so we've got the sails as baggy as possible in order to catch as much of it as we possibly can. But there's not enough just yet for drive on its own, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that our force 2 gets to that force 4. Mind you, if we were going the other way in these conditions, I'm quite sure Swallow'd really like it under full sail going towards the wind, because we've got the slightest sea you can imagine, so there's not much to knock our bluff bow off. There's quite a lot of fishing vessels out, all working in different areas. We keep passing one every 10 minutes. But we don't see many yachts out, which is strange enough, because this is coming up to the Irish bank holiday weekend. Looks like a little bit more air now. And from inside the boat, it's an entirely different picture than has been any other day so far. All as I'm looking at is a smooth velvety sea all around us. The boat's in a very, very smooth motion, and you could probably play a little balancing game and balance things on the table if you wanted to, that you can't normally do in the normal conditions that we've been having. But it is costing us a little bit of diesel, and a little bit of diesel's very precious. We're just coming up on Hookhead now. We're on the zoom, obviously, because we're a few miles out, but there's the lighthouse zoomed in as powerful as I can do it. Again, an easy target to find on the shoreline. And as you can see on the chart, we're a beam of it. We've got a little bit more wind now, and it's moved around a little bit more to a reach. So I'm afraid that the engine's going to have to go off, and you're going to have a bit of blurry footage, because I mustn't have had my contact lenses in shooting this bit. I'm not sure what's gone wrong, but I've lost a lot of definition there for sure for focus somewhere along the way. But it's back to normal now. It's nice to get the engine off, and it's nice to have enough wind, just enough wind, on a red hot lovely sunny blue day like today, to just push you along at 4.5 knots or so. It's almost like Caribbean type sailing in my mind, although I've never been Caribbean type sailing, so I don't know. But it's nice to have the blue skies and the water and our destination coming towards us at a decent speed with very little effort whatsoever from the boat or from ourselves. I can't begin to tell you how relaxing it is to sail a nice decent passage with very little effort being applied and the whale just slipping on by. Time almost feels still, like it's not moving, like we are travelling but time seems locked. I suppose it'd be like being a passenger in your own car, and we are passengers. And this is what I have to put up with. Tongues being pulled at me in the daytime. It's terrible. Well, we're making a decent pace over the ground anyway. Even if we're not making a decent pace through the water, I think we're doing all right. It's staying above 4.5 knots, that's for sure. And we've got plenty of wind now. We've got nine knots on the beam. Plenty of wind, which is keeping us getting close to 5 knots. But you can't feel it because she's just slipping along so gently. I know there's some slight sounds at the moment. Besides the water, you hear a line chink or a metal object touch another metal object. You hear all kinds of odd little noises, but the general feeling is that of ooh and relax. Looking at the land, there's a lot of zoom taking place there. And because it's a hot day, you get this misty ridge all over the horizon. So that's why the land looks a little bit fadey. Coming into view now, on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see 2 towers. 1, 2, them 2 on the end just there. And that's what it looks like on the chart, 2 towers. So that's how you can get your position, by using the land and marks on the land while you're out at sea. And it shows you that there's a bay there and which side of the bay you're looking at. And the coastline along here looks like it's got a lot of cliffs on it. A very rugged looking coastline. When it's nice like it is today, I mean silky and smooth and sailing's at its sort of summery best, I can sit up here for an hour until my bum gets numb on the pulpit. It's a comfortable seat really, and I should have a piece of wood fitted across the top of it to make it a more comfortable seat, but I end up sitting on the light. Because this is what you see all day when you're here, and it's just a lovely, lovely place to watch the world go by. And we don't have too far to go now, as we've had to endure this, lovely day, slipping along, looking at these cliffs on this flat water with this nice little breeze that's kept our cruising chute full nearly all the way. Our destination is just at the end of this rocky bit where it comes to an end, and it's called Dungarvan.
How lucky are we to get a day like today? Lisa, who's steering the boat?
Nobody! Hi, Benny and Brody. Niney went to see what she could see, and all that she could see, was the bottom of the deep blue sea.
Well, not too long after our shenanigans, and not too far to go, the wind starts easing a bit. And then before you know it, it's gone. So sails down and donkey on, because we're not going anywhere in this. We're only a couple of miles out from Dungarvan harbour, so it's not too bad at all. So we've started the donkey, and I've started watching a boat on the AIS just ahead of us who's coming out. Well, he's coming out and he seems to be heading towards a rock at this particular moment in time, and I'm watching him on the AIS. So I zoom in on him, and it looks very much like he goes straight up the rock on the AIS. This is him coming off the rock. He turned round and he started going back from where he come from. But he wasn't in control of his boat because he meandered quite a lot. Now the rock's not little, it's quite a big rock. There's no wind left outside whatsoever. The sea's fallen to bin bags. As you enter the outer harbour, you've got those rocks over there on your starboard side. And then you've got a huge gap of water. You've got the lighthouse on the corner there, so it's easy to see where you are. And if I pan round here, there's a mark, a buoy, a sewer outfall type mark there, so that's a good mark. And on your port side, right round here, is a tiny little rock. No, it's a great big rock. That's the one that the yacht earlier appeared to drive up. And this is our chosen pathway in. Staying on the north shore, no wind, plenty of depth, and there's a great big lighthouse to see you in. And I'm not even going to attempt to say what that's called. But there's plenty of little boats out here having a bit of fun, doing a spot of fishing and just enjoying the day. But it is high water here, so I suppose it's time for them to shoot out and have a little bit of fun, bouncing in the waves and the likes. Well, our starboard side and our north shore to where we are, it looks like a golf course from here, all the way up to the end where I can see there's a bit of a corner and possibly a bit of an anchorage just there. Well, there's plenty of buoys to spot, and the first one we see is that green can. We don't know what colour it is because it's sunny, and there's another couple of cans over there. But the cans are shaped. When you get by it, you can see it's a green. But beforehand, if there's a bit of sun on it, you've got to use the shape to work out which side you need to be. This rather large mast here is the one I think belongs to the boat that possibly ran up the rock. It looks quite daunting when you've got the sun on the water and you've got to pick up a can. So you've really got to rely on the shape. It looks a little bit easier on the camera, but when you look at the tops of the marks, they've got the separate shape on them, so you can see the little shapes on top. But I did find that I was using the binoculars to do this. Now Lisa steers us in while I get the fenders and the lines ready. I'm putting them out on port side, but I don't really know. We probably need them on starboard side, but we'll have to move them around at some point. So I'll put a couple out on each side. She's asking me where the marks are next because she's finding it hard to see into the sunshine. At the end of the voyage, you got a couple of port and starboard markers. This starboard hand marker just there is the first one you got around. You got to keep that obviously on your starboard side. And then if you can see this one here in the distance, that's obviously going to be the red port hand marker that you're going to put to your port. So if you like, it's a little bit of a gateway into the inner harbour area. It's always fun entering into any port that you've never been in before, working things out as you're going in, and also it helps to have nice weather. After those two marks, there's no buoyage until further along, where you see another two perches sticking up out the water, the same port and starboard. That's the port hand mark there just under the boom, and the starboard mark is just there by our shroud. And I think that marks about the inner harbour, and there's plenty of water underneath our boat at the moment, and anybody else's I should imagine is 3 to 5 metres varying. So you can get in here, and we're in 3 days after Neeps, so it's not even a spring, so there'd be a lot more water on a spring. The sailing club at the moment are moving this boat because they can see us coming here. This is how accommodating they are in this club. They're moving a boat so that we've got a nice space to stay in. They're just slipping along as we slip along. Well, we get our lines ready, realising that we're going to be starboard side, and we pass and turn back in onto the visitors pontoon, where a couple of the club members are eagerly waiting to catch our lines, which is absolutely fantastic. So they've cleared us a space, and now they're going to catch our lines. And this is the first contact we've had with them. We tried the sailing club on the landline, but unfortunately everybody was out on the pontoon at the time.
How good's that? Well done.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
I'd say it wasn't the first time. It don't always happen that good, does it?
No. Are you sailing club?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. We tried the phone number half a dozen times.
It's near impossible to get someone at the end of a sailing club phone line here.
Right.
Yeah. I think you were talking to Donald, were you outside?
They haven't spoken. No.
Oh, okay.
We're not the yacht that I think hit a rock.
Oh, is there something after hitting the rock?
Yeah, do you know that great big rock out there?
Yeah.
I think someone hit that. I watched it happen on my AIS. Could do with a couple of fenders, couldn't
Yeah, I'd say a few more. Are you bilge keel?
No.
Oh, you won't take ground here.
Why?
She'll fall.
What's the...
Like, we dry completely here.
This dries out.
Yeah, everything dries.
Oh, we're okay.
Well, after a brief discussion of will we dry out, won't we dry out, and we decided we will just about dry out, we decided to stick our legs on the side. So we've stuck our legs out, so if the boat dries out, we won't fall over. And Lisa's cushioned in the leg there in between two fenders, so it can't touch the sides, hopefully. But we're here, and it's one hell of a nice little harbour tucked away in the middle of nowhere. And you're definitely made to feel very welcome. And I'm standing on the bridge at the end of the little harbour to show you what there is. That's the entrance in down there. That's the way you come in. And you stay to the right of the screen now as you come in. There's plenty of deep water. There is a sandbank right in the middle, but there's plenty of deep water. And over there is the visitors pontoon, and it runs quite a while, and there's quite a lot of space on it. But they'll always find you a space, even if they have to raft you up. And over there's a big wall, and any boats can take that wall, that can take the ground. For example, a good sized long keeler could go on there. There's ladders on there, and there's methods of there's bollards to tie the boat up. So any sized boat could actually come in here and visit, I'm quite sure. Well, the sailing club has first class amenities, and it all comes at the premium price of €20 a night. I think we've stumbled on a little golden harbour. So from me and Dungarvan, you know what I'm going to say next. Bon voyage!